Wonderful day. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and it's so good to see everybody. And as you come in, hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And today we're going to talk about uh, basically dating in the Black community and the financial side of it. I saw a video today where someone laid out a theory that says that men whose mothers were single moms, struggling single moms, that these men expect women to struggle because they saw their mamas struggle. They expect that when they hook up with a woman, that there's no responsibility for the man from a financial standpoint because they never saw a man take responsibility for their mother. And I wanted to kind of lay this out for just public conversation. And to help me with this discussion is my good friend Tierra KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood. How you doing today, T?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. All right, so I'm gonna play this video, and y'all hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Shout out the city you're from. Let us know what city you're from. What's up, Dr. Vibe? I see you. And who else is in here? Dr. Vibe has a great show. Dr. Vibe, by the way, when you do your content, Dr. Vibe, I think you should put titles that relate to the topic and not just put like I would put the Dr. Vibe show at the end. I've been meaning to tell him this. I just haven't had a chance because me and Dr. Vibe are Instagram friends, and I gotta help a brother out. I would like take the topic and make that the title, and then put Dr. Vibe show at the end, as opposed to putting Dr. Vibe show in the beginning. It's just this pet crossed my brain. So anyway, we're all up into the content creation stuff. So anyway, what's going on? My name is Corey and Valerie and Red Smith and Portia Pasha Time. All right, so here is the video. I'm gonna play this video for y'all, and I want you to let me know. Give me a yes if you can hear it, and then let's talk about your assessment of this as after we play. So here we go.
I don't care what nobody say. I definitely agree when they said men who grew up watching their mothers struggle and have to work and pay bills and take care of the kids with no help, they definitely feel like the women that they get with should have to, like, fend for themselves and go through that. All because that's what they grew up watching mommy do. That's because your mother didn't have a real man beside her that loved her, that wanted to protect and provide. That's why you seen your mama always all shooken up and working, and you know what I'm saying? That's not a soft life. You know what I'm saying? She didn't live, the life that she needed to live, and that's sad. And it's sad that you feel like you need to go out here and find a woman to work hard like your mama. We not your mama. We're gonna leave you.
We're gonna leave you.
Wow.
We leaving.
We out of here. Ooh, she was like, I'm not your mama. I'm not gonna do what your mama did. Okay. All right. So everybody, as Tierra, I'm gonna ask Tierra what she thinks. And also as she gives her assessment, everybody type with one sentence. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's me. Sorry about that. In one sentence, give me your assessment of that video. True, false. Is she full of it? Is she on point? What do you think? Go ahead, Tierra.
In my heart, I think there is some validity. I think she's off in some spaces, but there is something about if you can't see it, you can't be it. If you don't, if you don't see a man taking care of your mother, I would think that it would be at some point like, oh well, we struggle. I mean, that was what it was. Either it's gonna motivate you in one way to be like, I'm taking care of all women and my mama. I'm gonna work hard to take care of my mother and do all the things I need to do for her and for my wife and just be the man and the provider, or it's gonna make you a bum, right? It's gonna motivate you in a different way where you're like, I mean, this is what it is. Life is hard. Sorry, but in terms of like whether you should stay, it just depends on what, because she was like, I'm leaving, she went left. But I felt like if she's not invested in that person, or a woman is not invested and doesn't want to be part of the struggle story or the struggle life with a man who is not trying to support, trying to help her level up, then I can see her being like, the situation isn't for me, right? I don't want struggle love. So I'm not mad at what she's saying, but there's some validity to it. But I think, it just depends on who you're with and their perspective.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think that ultimately, like Beverly says, all situations are different, right?
That's right,
And everybody responds differently to different situations. And the reality is that your struggle, or you struggling, or you watching somebody else struggle, can do at least a couple of things in you as a man. It can either make you weak because you just expect somebody else to carry the load, right? Because you're used to these big, strong, husky, powerful black women kind of just doing everything. So you get with a woman that you expect to do what your mama did, right? And a lot of men do that, and that's why I think it's very dangerous when women embrace that whole "I don't need a man" mentality. Like where you're constantly showing that you're the Incredible Hulk and you can carry the world on your shoulders and you don't show anybody when you're struggling. There's no vulnerability there. And I get that. I understand because it's very dangerous to be vulnerable. But the downside of being invincible is that people are going to say, okay, great, cool. I will show up and I will lay in your bed for a little while and eat some food, and then I'm going to leave. And I'm going to leave you and your children there to struggle. And because you didn't bring up any issues, you didn't let me know you needed help, I'm not going to help you because I'm going to be busy off chasing other women and living my best life. And I think that's the danger, right? That's the danger of this prototype's quote unquote strong black woman persona, is that men will literally assume, like, I think men need to be needed. And real men, I think, really want to help, but it's like, I will help you if you value the help that I'm providing, and you let me know that my help is actually adding value. If you tell me that I'm just an irrelevant, worthless accessory, that I'm literally this detachable piece to your purse, then I'm gonna say, okay, fine, no problem. I'll be down the street. You handle the responsibility. I'm gonna go have fun. Right now, if you go into the other direction, you are right. One thing that happens in a lot of this is why the imbalance of the black family has been so devastating. The imbalance in the black family has destroyed the black community in so many ways. You have lost trillions in economic potential because Joe Biden and that crime bill and all that other shit that they did, the war on drugs and all that. It just dismantled your whole ecosystem. Take my word for it, everybody. Please listen to me when I tell you this. So one of the problems that you have is that there are rules and codes of manhood. There's a type of assertion that a man has to have. He has to be aggressive to a point where he has to go out and kind of have some ambition. And mothers aren't necessarily always the ones who give us that ambition. Some mothers really try. Like, did you ever see that video with that lady where she was in her son's face? It's me and you, Naro. It's me and you. Me and you. Did you see that? When she
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, the little boy had got out of line at school, right? And the teachers called the mother. So the mother shows up and she's like a dude. She like Mike Tyson. She was like, it's me. She was in his face. It's me and you, no, it's me and you. You don't do what they say. It's gonna be me and you. Right? She sounded like Hulk Hogan. I gotta send you the video. It's hilarious. And so some women try that, and I don't feel like that's natural. It just a little weird, right? So anyway, I mean, I really thought she was gonna pull out a pair of balls or something and put them on the table. So here's the deal. When you have these scenarios where the women are super strong, kind of carrying everything, carrying the load, and the nurturing nature of a mother kicks in, where maybe you feel guilty because your son doesn't have his daddy, or you just don't know how to deal with a man. You get these guys that are spoiled, just spoiled to death. And it's crazy because a mama, y'all give me a yes if you've seen this, and let me know if y'all have seen this. There are mamas will make excuses for your ass till you are 50.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You could be a 50-year-old serial killer who went to jail 14 times, molested everybody in the neighborhood, robbed 12 banks, and shot your cousin. And your mama is the one that will always make excuses for you. And this is actually the power of a mother's love. Like, the mother's love is the most extraordinary thing in the world, because only your mama can love you through some of the degenerate bullshit that some of these men do, but mama will always defend them. So when all the babies' mamas are complaining because he ain't paying no child support, mama will make an excuse, right? And mama might pay the child support. She'll watch all the kids. She'll bail him out of jail so that he can sit back in her basement with his liquor, his weed, and his hoes, playing video games at 38 years old when he got 7 kids to take care of. Like, and mama will literally be okay with that. That ain't normal. That ain't good. That does not position the black man to be powerful or excellent or extraordinary in this world. That positions the black male as a little boy for his whole life, and it just disrupts everything, because the man is supposed to provide that structure, and an unstructured man can't provide structure for anybody. Go ahead, Tia.
Right. That's right. And I wrote down some notes because yes. I also was having a conversation with somebody, just to add to what you just said, was that it's so funny because black women are kind of trained when you grow up in a house to cook and clean, and you learn that very early. but you notice that the young boys are kind of coddled a little bit. They're coddled. They get to go outside and play. Don't make him do that. Don't make him lift that. Tiara, come in here and lift this, right? So it's almost like we are conditioned in that way where you feel like, okay, well, I'm the one that has to be strong. I'm the one with all the responsibility. Like I'm the responsible one out of the two of us, right? And so then you have those situations where you go to a man and you say, hey, listen, I really need a extra $100. Like I'm trying to pay the rent. I got 4 jobs, but ends ain't meeting. Can you help? And he like, girl, you know what? I just don't got it. I can't. And then it's almost like, okay, fine. You don't have it. Like, and you know, and so sometimes I think women look at Black men like that, where it's like, they ain't got it. And you kind of just here for emotional support or whatever, like, oh dang, that's messed up. Here, let me give you a hug, or let me give you some, let me give you some, or whatever. And you find yourself in a situation with somebody like that where you can't look at them as a provider. You kind of just look at them like, okay, well, Tyrone's going to provide in other ways. Like he's really good with the kids, and that's what it comes down to. So I agree, but I think that Black women tend to do that with men, where they give them their boys, they give them a pass, and then these boys grow into men that ultimately we can't depend on. So you be like, I'll get it. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna learn how to do it. I got it.
Yeah, and you know what? And by the way, everybody, I'm talking to Tiara KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood, and we're talking about this video of this woman who basically made the argument that men who are raised by struggling single mothers are more likely to watch the women struggle, who are okay with watching a woman struggle, even though even though he's with her and he's supposed to be the man in her life, he's okay with watching her kind of carry the load because he saw his mother do it. If y'all can do us a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Tiara's website is realvirtual.net. She actually can help you. Her team can help you get your business going, grow your business, whatever the case may be. They'll do a free consultation. It's totally free. So just go to realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net, and see if you can figure out a way to work with them to get some extra money. Everybody needs a side hustle. The economy is changing. I encourage you to go get that money. All right. So T, you know what? You make a good point, right? I think that it's one of those things where one thing that has to happen is there, when you talk about this very delicate issue in the Black community, I feel like there's at least a couple of conversations happening. There is the mature conversation and the immature conversation. There's the empathetic conversation and the conversation that lacks empathy. The mature empathetic conversation is one where we understand that we're in this boat together. That's the one where we say, look, my solution is not to beat up on Black women and blame them for everything. My solution is not to beat up on Black men and blame us for everything. The solution is something where we understand that we are in an ecosystem, that typically when a person does something that doesn't make any sense, it's usually because there was some failure on the part of somebody from the opposite gender, right? That opposite gender parent, right? A lot of the men that are online that are really angry at women, well, you got to look at their mothers. What happened with the mama? And why do you attack women who look like your mama? Like, you don't understand the subconscious connection between Black women and your own mother. So a lot of these men hate their mothers. And what did mama do? But then when you look at what mama did, you got to look at what her daddy did, right? Or what her man did, right? A lot of times, if men are like, when men get to bashing single mothers and saying, "Oh Lord Jesus, why would anybody want to date a single mother with kids?" It's like, well, a man made those babies, right? And to me, if you are a man who will confront women and just roll up on women, just like, I'm gonna pull up on every woman and cuss her out and talk crazy about her. If you pull up on a woman, but you're scared to pull up on men, you're scared to talk to the men, you're scared to address the men, then you, sir, are a punk. Yeah. You are a punk. And so one of the things that people need to understand is, like, you need to look at the conversation you're having. If your conversation is 80% women's fault, you, sir, are a punk. And that was the only issue I had when Kevin Samuels was doing his thing. I didn't have a problem with Kevin. And Kevin, we were cool. He did a whole video about me. He was very nice. But at the same time, I was like, come on, brother. If you're going to talk about the women, you need to talk as much about the women as you do about the men. Because if you're a man, if we're really men, right? Think about this, right? People talk about men being in charge and leading and all that. So think about this. You're supposed to be the man. You're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be in charge, and your community's falling apart and everything's in chaos. but yet you somehow want to blame other people. That's not what a person in charge does. One of the first lessons they teach you about leadership is accountability, right? When you say it's my fault, my bad, I'm going to step in and fix this the best way that I can. So when you have all these little men online, they're mentally, you're acting like a little man. You shouldn't be doing this. A lot of them will sit all day and complain. It's the women this and the women that and the women this and the women that, and they don't understand you're undermining your own argument by the way you're making it. You know, if you say the women need to be checked, but then here's what the men are doing, that we need to hold it down on our side, then that makes more sense to me. But if you're just talking about the women all day, that just, to me, that just, you're just fitting the stereotype of the black man who doesn't want to take accountability or responsibility of anything. Accountability must always start at home. And I don't know if we internalize this. Tierra.
Man, we are bickering on the internet. That's all I see all the time. If it's up to the internet, when I get online and I just look at YouTube shorts and Instagram or reels, it's like the black woman she's stupid and she sucks and she, you know, and the black man is this and this, and it's so draining. It almost makes me feel like there definitely was a disconnect, or we bought into whatever narrative that black men don't love black women and vice versa. But like at this point, you get that. You start to feel like, am I gonna have to date Andy or Tom or Tim? Because it feels like, if you look at current culture, like we hate each other for whatever reason. And I know that's not the truth, because Lord knows that I love a black man. Lord knows. But you know, it when you look around, there are these conversations happening, and people seemed really fueled by them. They seem like they're buying into the narrative. They're buying into, like, you know, you got passport bros, and now women are going overseas. Like, well, let me go get somebody from England or whatever. Like, it's just, people are so, it's like we just want love. And now, you know, we've been having conversations about now there's not enough black men for black women. So, I mean, there's just so many conversations happening, boys, at the same time. It's hard to keep up with what's true, what's not, what's just being sprayed around to further divide us, like what, you know, to cause division.
Well, a lot of these debates and conversations are kind of corny anyway, in the sense that,
Sure.
you know, people will literally be like, that one lady was asking podcasters if she can find a good man, and I was like, why are you asking people this important question because they have a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Like they're not qualified to give you advice on your family, ma'am. So right there, that's a problem. You know, you need to sort of stop thinking that a YouTuber is the person that can give you information. Look into that YouTuber's credentials, right?
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of that, speaking of credentials, my wife tonight is actually going to be on Fly Nubian Queen TV, doing an assessment on some stuff going on in the community. I have to get the link. I'll share the link with you guys if you want to join her. I think they'll be on there later on tonight, about 8 o'clock or something like that. So let me play another video. This is one that we've already seen, but I think this can be a part of that conversation. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. This is where that mother of 7 is asking whether or not she can find a good man. I'm gonna play this again because I think this is relevant to our conversation. Here we go.
Mom of 7, and I'm 33.
Okay.
With being a mom of 7, do you think that a woman of multiple children is still capable of finding someone?
First, let me ask you before I make the statement. Do the kids have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, so this is hold on. We're talking about 7 children, okay? This is no offense to you, because it's absolutely possible for you to find a quality man. What makes it a tad bit difficult is that you have to find a man who has the financial footing to take care of you and 7 children. And then you also have to be able to find a man who is going to be willing to come in and create structure in that household. 7 children on 1 person is a lot to create structure in. So there's a lot that this man is going to have to come in and do. On top of that, creating a secure space for you when you have to be a mother and you have to take care of the majority of the things that happen in a house. Are you going to have the ability to be able to love this man in a way that he needs to be loved, in a way that registers as love to him when you have to love 7 other individuals? You're going to need a man who can love those children as his own.
Yep.
That is a huge responsibility to put on a person who does not have those children. Those are not his kids.
Right.
But if I were you, no disrespect, I'll try to work it out with the father.
No, hear me out. Hold on.
Okay. So let's do a quick recap on that. So T, when you saw this, what was your reaction to that in terms of sort of this whole interesting thing where I just saw a video from a guy that a good rapper. His name's Crank Lucas. And for some reason, as a rapper, he wanted to comment on this, but he said, no, you cannot find a good man. It's not possible with those 7 kids. You let this man, you let this man, do XYZ to you 7 times, and there's no way you can find a good man. You will never find a man better than your husband. What is your response to that?
Yeah, I definitely think that even though she made a decision, obviously she's 33, so she made a decision. She could have been a teenage mother, in her 20s. I think this young lady who is beautiful deserves love. If she wants it. We don't know the situation that happened between her and the man that she was with, that she has 7 children with. I said that I thought that if women could love men like Future and take on men like Country Wayne, who has children, he's also very active, and women still date him, and he can still be loved and all the things. So I just think that she deserves that. I think she deserves that, and I think she can still find it. It's gonna be hard.
We know
I think there's somebody for everyone.
It's gonna be hard, but it's kind of interesting to me. Like, I kind of feel like as Black men, we got to take a little bit of pride in ourselves, in the sense that, like, part of the reason that there are people that literally look at white men and admire them over you is because you act like a fucking child sometimes. Some of y'all are like little children. You're scared of responsibility. You just, there's 7 kids. Oh, know nothing about no chillums. I get all that money. I can't do. I'm not saying that you have to do it. Some men can't do it. I get it, but there's a lot of Black men who can, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of men who have enough money where having kids is not like this. They don't run this and hide under a blanket, like it's like, okay, we got a responsibility. We got these kids. And if you look old school with it, you go back to your granddaddy and people like that, they did that. That you had men that were like, okay, I love this woman. And this is another thing too. This is what's crazy. I believe that if a woman is attractive and appealing and a good woman, there are a lot of really good men who will be like, you know what? I love you. And if I love you, I got to love your kids too. I know that. And again, I'm biased. I'm biased because that's what my daddy did. The daddy that raised me, he saw my mama. He told his friend, he was on the college campus. He met my mama in the library. I met my wife in the library. So that's a little tip. Stop meeting people in the club. Go meet somebody in the library or somewhere good. Like, I don't know if meeting people in the club is necessarily always the best approach. But then again, whatever. I'm just joking. But still, though, he said he told his friend, he saw my mama, and he probably looked at her ass or something. And he told his friend, he said, I'm going to marry that woman. Right. That's literally what he told his friend. And because he's an ambitious man and he goes for what he wants, he's a soldier. He had just come back from Vietnam. He went after that woman. And then he saw me, and I wasn't the voice with the gray beard. I was a little baby, a little big head baby, that had diapers on, that would cry every time he came in the room because he was taking my woman. And he literally just said to himself, this is my responsibility. If I want the woman, I want whatever comes with that woman. And what men have to understand too is that, you're asking women to do the same thing. Some of y'all showing up with 3-4 kids and babies mamas. You showing up with debt problems, your bad credit, STDs, right? You showing up with all kinds of baggage, and you somehow don't think. And think about how you would feel if women were as mean as you. If women were like, oh no, these Negroes showing up with no money and no credit, and they ain't got no, and he done went to jail, and he got a baby mama. Seriously, like that would be kind of atrocious. And we know that wouldn't be accurate either, because we all know that an appealing man can overcome all that. Like, there are women that will take on you and all your baggage if you're the right kind of man, right? And so really, I think that's the fundamental issue right there. Like, I think that when people make simple-minded rules about relationships, they're always wrong. Like, when somebody says, who would want to, like, a woman with no kids is better than a woman with kids. I dated women with kids. I've dated women without kids.
Yeah.
It depends on the woman. And then number 2, I found that kids are actually kind of cool. But that's me. That's my preference. I was a track coach. I like mentoring kids. Alicia's kids, they work for me. And like the oldest, he worked with me. I made a few $100,000 working with him. The next one came to work for me after that. The third one, we talk all the time. Like, kids are not, I don't understand who decided that children were a curse.
Yeah.
a man who doesn't understand any form of responsibility would look at children and say, ugh, right?
Yeah.
I get it if you don't want to do it. I understand. It takes a sacrifice. It takes patience. It takes, you can't be selfish, right? With kids. There is an expense attached, but stop crapping on something that can actually be a beautiful experience. And I would encourage everybody who's listening, all the intelligent Black people out here that are listening to these ridiculous conversations, be smart, please, and don't let these people pressure you. That's just what bothers me is like when you have that one guy who's like, I got a girlfriend, she's got 3 kids, and I kind of like the kids, right? And I don't want you to feel bad, because what's going to happen is if you are a wimp and you let these punk ass men talk you out of doing what God told you to do, you're going to hurt a child's feelings. And there's nothing good about a bastard who will hurt the feelings of a child. I will say that to the day I die. And I guess it's because I have a heart for these kids, because you got kids in your damn community who've been abandoned by their daddies. That's what it is. So all y'all punk ass men who are talking crazy to the women for having kids, you need to also talk crazy to the daddies who are abandoning their children. They're hurting their children's feelings. Their kids are growing up sad and suicidal and lost and hurt and depressed because their daddies are nowhere to be found. And you have the nerve, the audacity to act like women made these kids by themselves. That is pathetic. That's not a man to me. Period. I'm done talking. Go ahead.
Right. I was about to say, just to bring, there's somebody for everyone. I just want to say that there's somebody for everyone in situations like this, where the young lady has 7 kids. Like I said the other day, you never know if somebody grew up without a family, and just like the idea, their dream was to have a family. And how great is it to walk into a woman who may be a good woman, like you said, that takes care of her children, that cleans the house, that does all the things that he wants her to do. And then you walk in and it's kind of like ramen, right? Just add water and we can go, right? Like some people want that. Some men want that. So I think it comes, like you said, it all comes down to preference, right? What do you prefer? What do you want? And then also my grandmother Mildred had 12 children. My great grandma had 12 children, and my grandma always had a boyfriend. Like after her husband left, like, he left and moved to New York, and he moved away from the family, and we never saw him again. I don't know why. I don't know if he had another family. I have no idea. But my grandma had men come in and support her and help her after that. Now, what I noticed from my family is just like the kids kind of just started to take care of each other because there were so many of us, and then grandkids came, and then all the things. So it all ended up working out. It all ends up working out at the end, right? Like, that's what I think. Like everybody grows up. It's not like the kids will be young kids forever. At some point they grow up and they move out, and you still have that woman, and you still have that, that relationship that you guys have created. So it's just like, it's not a death sentence.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. And this is really a heavily economic conversation. In case people wonder why we talk about this, it's because Black family structure is one of the leading indicators of economic outcomes. And if you have a solid family where everybody's helping each other, I write about this a lot in my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. Basically, if you have a solid family where everyone is on code to help each other out, you can really do amazing things. You can build businesses, you can invest together. There are people in our stock options class, couples that are investing together. And there's one couple where literally both of them like have enough money now where they both quit their jobs, and this happens all the time in the Black business school. So this connection, it's important to understand the overlap between relationships and money. Good relationships will help you get more money. Bad relationships will hurt your money. And one thing that men, I would encourage men to consider is that before you automatically assume that a woman with no kids is better than a woman with kids, understand that, if you have a woman who's lazy and raggedy and some, superficial gold digger, she going to run right through your money and literally think, oh, well, all I got to do is deliver good looks and sex. And next thing you know, you're up here paying this massive expense for this person who's expecting you to buy her Gucci and take her to nice restaurants. And one thing about some single moms, not all of them, but the smart ones, the professional ones, etc., is they're kind of more business oriented. Like they don't have a lot of time to waste. So they're kind of like people that I find that a lot of Black women, I think I mentioned this to you, I found that a lot of Black women make excellent teammates. Like when you're
Yes.
trying to really get stuff done, like they're the ones that can like help you figure out how to do your taxes or set your LLC up or get your money right so you can achieve things. And again, not everybody qualifies, right? I'm not talking about sexy red, or whatever, right? She could show you how to let your coochie breathe and put your hands on your knees and all that, right? But that maybe she's cut out for somebody. It's not for me. But I will say though that when you're talking about women that really have their stuff together, uh, it's actually an accelerator of your economic success. That's why a lot of millionaires and billionaires who could be doing, they could be out just doing whatever with whoever. A lot of them have wives. Think about this. Patrick Mahomes has a $400 million contract with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's in his 20s. He could easily, I mean, a lot of guys will say, well, yeah, of course you're in your 20s. You should be out here exploring and whatever. No, he's got a wife and a child. He's investing in his family the same way he's investing in his football, and I encourage men to consider all of that. Right? Don't just think that sitting around wasting your life going from one situation to the next is always the best approach. Chasing women is expensive. You're taking these women on dates. You're spending money trying to get more sex and all that. So what you're doing is you're allowing your addictions to drive your behavior. And anybody who has addictions that lead to a consistent amount of short-sighted behavior is typically not going to be very successful. So when you have some guy who's like, man, leave these hoes alone. Don't be investing in these hoes. Don't be right. Guys who talk like that, I want you to go look at their situation, look at their finances, look at where their life is, look at what they built, see if they created anything in their lives. And 9 times out of 10, they haven't done much of anything. It doesn't mean it's never the case. It doesn't mean that there aren't exceptions. But at the same time, that sort of inability to think long term, it translates into your investing behavior too. Right. A person who can't think long term will never have any money because investing requires you to see things before they happen. It requires you to plant seeds consistently. So Tierra, actually, you know what? I'm going to mention your website real quick, and then I want to get your response to that. I'm talking to Tierra KJ Williams, aka Miss Black Hollywood, and we're talking about this video where a woman basically said that men who grew up with struggling single moms are the ones that are the most likely to let their new woman struggle financially. And so this is the topic for today. If you could please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Tierra's website is realvirtual.net, and that is where you can go to get help with your business or get your business started or figure out ways to make more money. They'll do a free consultation, totally free. Realvirtual.net, REEL virtual.net, not .com.net. And also, I put together something for you guys that you can feel free to take a look at. A lot of you are asking me, how do I invest in Africa? And one thing that I've mentioned to you all before is that Africa is one of the fastest growing economies on the planet. Most indicators say that Africa is going to be an economic leader in the 21st and 22nd century. And so investing in Africa now might be an opportunity for you to let your wealth grow. So you can get access to so what I did was I put together a list of investments that you can make in Africa that can get you ahead. I'm going to put a URL on the screen. And also I'm going to tell you a way you can text and get the list. So tonight at 8:00, if you text the word stock to 87948, I will send you that list of African investments that you could take a look at. Text the word stock to 87948, or you can also go to drboycewatkinsafrica.com, and the list is right there. So it's just a resource from the Black Business School, courtesy of the school, for those of you that want to get ahead of the curve in Africa. Okay, so T, what I want to do is I'm going to play another video, and I want to get your take on this. This is from Ayanna Van Zant, and she has a theory about Black relationships involving women and men, and she kind of seems to say that women expect men to be like their girlfriends, that they're kind of emasculating men, and that women have been pushed to become more masculine. So I want you to just watch the video and then give me your take. Here we go.
Okay.
Distinction between feminine power and masculine power. And we've been conditioned and trained to be men in skirts. We do everything like men. We compete like men. I said this on the R Spot a few weeks ago.
I can't hear it.
Oh, you couldn't hear it? Were y'all able to hear that video? If you can't hear it, then let me just tell you what she said. It was a short clip, but basically she was saying that a lot of Black women have become very masculine. Society has made them masculine. They compete like men. They carry themselves like men, and that's not particularly appealing. And then also at the same time, I think some part in the video, it wasn't actually in that clip that I had though, but in the title, that's what they put, is that there's an expectation that women sometimes expect men to be their girlfriends, that they expect us to sort of, let go of our masculinity so we can sort of be like another woman, which defeats the purpose of us getting a chance to fulfill our purpose. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that goes along with those conversations of men or women who are out here securing the bag, making money, running companies, running businesses, and meeting men who may not be on that same level as far as their careers are concerned. And it's like, okay, well, you come in, but there's already kind of like a dynamic there that's like turned upside down, So it's just like, I need you when I need you, and I don't when I don't, kind of thing. But I think, just in general, just the way things are kind of set up now, if you are a single woman, it's very, or just a woman in general, there's so many things that you are responsible for throughout the day. If it's not your family, it's going to work. It's, we got to be everything, right? We got to know how to do and be everything to everybody. I think that's the pressure that women feel. And so we kind of turn that up in order to kind of create that and be that kind of woman. There is a bit of a masculine energy, I think, that you need to encompass for that, to be everything and handle everything and be like, I got it. Okay, here we go. I'm at work. I got the kids. I got, just having to carry that. I think it does make your energy a little bit more masculine. So when somebody comes along, it's very hard to put it down. It's very hard to put it down. It's nice sometimes. I mean, I believe that we want to be feminine. We want to be soft. We want to, the girls talk about a soft girl era and soft life era and all the things. And I think women want that. It's just very hard to do that when you are responsible for everything. You gotta work out. You gotta be fine. You gotta be soft. You gotta work. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta take care of kids. You gotta juggle so many things. And then, have your mind together. You gotta go to therapy. You just got to do all the things. I think women feel that pressure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that there could be truth to what Ayana said, in that the Black woman's built different from everybody else because the Black woman's had a different kind of experience. That's just what it is, right? So so it kind of manifests itself in different ways. And I think that what we have to accept is that none of us are perfect. All of us have been affected by this thing called slavery and oppression and Jim Crow and all that. And it's just shown up in different ways. And I think that we have to expect and challenge the world to adjust, but we also have to challenge ourselves, right? Like, I can't sit back and just say, well, something's wrong with everybody else and nothing wrong with me. I think that women have to, maybe for a woman, she might require a little bit of coaching and mentorship to learn how to address men and deal with men and speak to men, etc., so that she can appeal to the man that she wants, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that you are, hyper masculine and super strong, and you got it all. Like, I can conquer the world, take out the garbage, fix the roof, whatever. Well, maybe. I mean, seriously, I think that for some cases there are women like that who kind of want a man to just settle in and just, I need you to just be my bitch, right? You know what I mean? I just need you, or be my son. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what, and here's the thing. Here's what's crazy is that there are people who are built. There are men who are built like that. There are men who are like, yeah, that's great. Okay, mama, you pay the bills. You tell me what to do. And I saw that. I saw a relationship like that where there was this lady and she was talking to, and she had her man was like this big, tall, 6'5", very handsome guy. He played professional baseball, but he had mommy issues, right? And so this woman was a little bit older, so she basically became his mama. And we were watching, me and the other guys were looking at him. We were all in Africa, actually, and we were looking at this couple like, did you see what she said to him? Like, he was talking to us by the elevator, and she goes, he can't talk right now. He can't talk. He's got to go get dressed. Like, it was so funny. And we were just cracking up. And here's the thing, though. Maybe for them that worked. Maybe it's almost like, you got people that do freaky stuff in the bedroom where it's like you like something weird and they don't mind giving you something weird. You know what I mean? Like, you need me to shove it into your whatever, I'm not trying to get graphic, but right. So in a way, I almost feel like in general, solving the problem. I see everything in markets because I'm a finance guy, and everything is a market. So dating is a market, just like a grocery store is a market, just like a job market. So think about it like this. If I'm looking for a certain type of job, I need to be able to fulfill the requirements of that job. If I don't fill the requirements of that job, I won't get the job. Now, the stupid thing for me to do, the silly thing for me to do would be for me to just constantly complain. Hey, I got a whole GED and I want to work. I want to work 8 hours and make $300,000 a year. And all these jobs they expecting too much and they just being too demanding and they standards are too high, right? That's what I see when I see guys that are complaining about women's standards being too high. I'm like, well, either you got to step your game up or you got to pick a different woman, one or the other. You got a choice. So just like that person who's looking for a job, you got a GED, you want to work 8 hours a day and you want 300,000 a year. You don't fit the market. The market ain't, they got better options. They got people that'll work 40 hours a week for $300,000. They got people with master's degrees. So same thing is when you see men, and I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is an economic exercise here, financial consciousness exercise. Whenever you see men complaining that women's standards are too high, that typically means that they're searching out of their pay range. Yep. That's it. They're chasing women that they can't get because these women have better options than them. You don't know how many men, you don't know what kind of men are in her DM or in her phone. There's a whole nother universe happening that you know nothing about, and you're like, why don't you want me? I bought you a pair of socks and some Doritos, and these hoes they too iffy, they gold diggers, right? No, she just has another man over there that's willing to do better than you and offer you more than you and offer her more than you are, and you can't handle that, right? So if you see that, then that would mean either see, here's the thing. Sorry, let me go back. I'm not going to do that part again. But let me say this. I heard a guy, did I ever tell you this? Where I heard a guy who was actually a pimp who said, don't pick the person that you want, pick the person that wants you. Now, I don't agree with that, right? I don't think you have to pick in the garbage, right? Just because they want you. Mm-hmm. But what he was really saying, and I agreed, is he was basically saying, make sure they want you when you want them. And so to me, when you're a man or a woman even, and you're complaining that these people's standards are too high and they do you wrong and they want too much, well, that tells me that you want somebody who doesn't want you. Yeah. So right there, you're breaking one of the fundamental rules of markets that basically says there's a thing called supply and demand. If you go get a job, you can't just go for the job that you want. You got to pick a job that wants you. You can't just pick the job that wants you. You got to pick a job that you want. So there has to be a connect. Yeah. Does everybody follow what I'm saying? I hope everybody gets this. I want to explain it so people will stop running around saying stupid things like people's standards are too high. These men want too much. These women want too much. No, it's all about the market. It's all about the market. So if I have a job post, if I'm an employer and I post a job and I say, look, we're offering $26 an hour and nobody will take this job. Well, that's because all your potential employees have better options. They have other jobs out there they can take that will either pay them more or require less work. So you got to figure out where the disconnect is. And because people are so damn selfish and don't really want to do the work, they assume that something's wrong with the world without assuming that there's something that they need to change in themselves. Everybody wants to change the world, but nobody wants to change themselves. Yeah. I can tell you like this, all these problems these guys talk about with women, I never had those problems. I just didn't. I don't know what universe you're talking about because what I learned about women is if you show up and you understand women, you know how to talk to them. If you got a little bit of money in your pocket and you know how to bring certain things to the table, that even the harshest, toughest, meanest woman will literally fold down and submit to that power that you're bringing to the table. And so ultimately, I would encourage people to just be your best self, and that might mean literally. And this is where I'm going to go back to some of what Kevin Samuels used to say that women should have listened to Kevin Samuels in this area. One thing Kevin would talk about, and women would get pissed off, is he'd be like, "If you want that man to want you, lose some damn weight." That's if I'm a man that's making six figures and I got all these women banging down my door and you showing up looking like one of the clumps and thinking not even interested in bettering yourself, well, then don't get mad if I don't want you. Don't get mad if I pick somebody better. I got better options. So everybody, I think in general, the rule of a market, we're going to go back to an economic conversation here. The rule of any market, particularly the dating market or the job market, or any of the market, is that if you want the best opportunities, you need to show up as your best self. If you're not prepared to show up as your best self, then you will get out-competed every time. And that's just the reality that I see. Thank you for letting me get that out.
Yes, that's so funny. I was just about to say that about the Kevin Samuel. I was patiently waiting, but I just watched a video. I watch the videos now all the time, right? Now that he's no longer here. I go back and be like, what was he talking about now? And then he's like, what's your waist size? And she's like, 26, you know, like, you know, he's like, how tall are you? I'm 4'2", you know, it's all the things, right? But I didn't see a problem with that. One lady that I was watching just last night, she was just saying like, they just tell on themselves like, yeah, my son don't want to date Black women. He was like, well, what has he been watching from you that says, what has he been watching from you? He said, what's your personality like? She was like, well, I could be forceful. She was like, and he basically, that was it. That was the thing. And so I just think that's so interesting that you're right. We need to look in the mirror and look at ourselves and have accountability and just know when we're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, and I think that's what you run into, right? Is nobody likes accountability, right? But everybody wants to give it, but nobody wants to receive it. And so everybody in the chat, maybe that's where we can walk away from this conversation as better people. Everybody type the word accountability in the chat. If you can spell it, it's a hard word to spell. Type accountability in the chat, right? Everybody type the word accountability, because that's what it's all about. You know, if you're accountable to yourself and accountable to others, then you'll have better opportunities because you're going to show up as your best self.
Yeah.
And I also think that when we see something that we don't like from other people, we got to ask ourselves, what did I do to contribute to that? Because you're right. If your son hates Black women and he got raised by one, you need to ask yourself that question. And because you also see women that have big issues with men because their daddy wasn't shit. See, if your daddy was your hero, then you're going to love people that are like your hero. You know, so the best compliment I ever got from my baby Carmen, you know, Carmen, my little girl, is when she literally, when we were talking about the kind of man she might want to pick, she said, I want to find a man like you, you know, and that really touched me. That touched my heart. That told me I did a good job because, because that tells me like, because I've always tried my best to do a good job, you know, and so ultimately, if your child wants somebody who's the opposite of you, then maybe you didn't do everything right, you know, and that's the harsh reality I think women don't want to consider is sometimes, you know, some Black mamas can be kind of rough, you know, and mean and emasculating and get your stupid little ass up in here, and that ain't, you know, that's not gonna make somebody honor you and admire you. So let's all do the work so we can heal, so we don't keep traumatizing each other. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna give your information, Tiara.
Yeah.
Real quick, everybody who wants to follow Tiara, first thing, you can follow her on social media at Miss Black Hollywood, MS Black Hollywood. I can't put it on the screen, but it's MS Black Hollywood. She's also going to be a co-host of a show on Fly Nubian Queen called Secure the Bag. Can I tell them?
Yeah, I'm the host.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. It's called Secure the Bag. And she's got some super sharp Black women that she's going to bring in, and they're going to just talk money and finance and investing and wealth and business and life and everything else. So feel free to go to flynubianqueen.com if you'd like to see that. flynubianqueentv.com. Sorry. And also, or if you text the word Queens to 87948, I'll send you a link when Tiara launches her show. Text Queens to 87948. And also, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to give you a couple of pieces of information. Number one, we're hosting a stock options summit in Los Angeles, which is going to be April 19th and 20th. If you'd like to join us, you can go to stockoptionssummit.com. And also in the morning, we do Money in the Morning with Dr. Boyce. So if you want to join us for our daily financial consciousness, financial manifestation training, then text the word morning to 87948, and you can actually join the live sessions for free. And then we give you an option to upgrade if you want to get all the archived recordings and, you know, all this other stuff. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you very much, Tiara. It was real.
This was fun.
Absolutely. As always. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.